Apple Incorporated, formerly Apple Computer Incorporated, is an American multinational technology company headquartered in Cupertino, California, in Silicon Valley. It designs, develops, and sells consumer electronics, computer software, and online services. Devices include the iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, and Apple TV. Operating systems include iOS and macOS, and software applications and services include iTunes, iCloud, and Apple Music. As of March 2023, Apple is the world's largest company by market capitalization. In 2022, it was the largest technology company by revenue, with $394.30 billion. As of June 2022, Apple was the fourth largest personal computer vendor by unit sales, the largest manufacturing company by revenue, and the second largest manufacturer of mobile phones in the world. It is one of the big five American information technology companies, alongside Alphabet, the parent company of Google, Amazon, Meta, the parent company of Facebook, and Microsoft. Apple was founded as Apple Computer Company on April 1, 1976, to produce and market Steve Wozniak's Apple I personal computer. The company was incorporated by Wozniak and Steve Jobs in 1977. Its second computer, the Apple II, became a bestseller as one of the first mass-produced microcomputers. Apple introduced the Lisa in 1983 and the Macintosh in 1984 as some of the first computers to use a graphical user interface and a mouse. By 1985, the company's internal problems included the high cost of its products and power struggles between executives. That year, Jobs left Apple to form Next Incorporated, and Wozniak withdrew to other ventures. The market for personal computers expanded and evolved throughout the 1990s, and Apple lost considerable market share to the lower-priced duopoly of the Microsoft Windows operating system on Intel-powered PC clones, also known as Wintel. In 1997, Apple was weeks away from bankruptcy. To resolve its failed operating system strategy and entice Jobs' return, it bought Next. Over the next decade, Jobs guided Apple back to profitability through several tactics, including introducing the iMac, iPod, iPhone, and iPad to critical acclaim, launching the Think Different campaign and other memorable advertising campaigns, opening the Apple Store retail chain, and acquiring numerous companies to broaden its product portfolio. Jobs resigned in 2011 for health reasons and died 2 months later. He was succeeded as CEO by Tim Cook. Apple has received criticism regarding its contractors' labor practices, its environmental practices, and its business ethics, including anti-competitive practices and material sourcing. Nevertheless, it has a large following and a high level of brand loyalty. It has been consistently ranked as one of the world's most valuable brands. Apple became the first publicly traded US company to be valued at over $1 trillion in August 2018, then at $2 trillion in August 2020, and at $3 trillion in January 2022. In June 2023, it was valued at just over $3 trillion. 8. History Main article, History of Apple Incorporated 1976-1980, Founding and Incorporation. See also, History of Apple Incorporated section 1971-1985, Jobs and Wozniak in 1976. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak co-founded Apple in Jobs' parents' home on Crist Drive in Los Altos, California. 9. Wozniak called the popular belief that the company was founded in the garage a bit of a myth, 10. Although they moved some operations to the garage when the bedroom became too crowded. 11. The Apple I is Apple's first product, designed by Wozniak and sold as an assembled circuit board without the required keyboard, monitor, power supply, and the optional case. The Apple II Plus was introduced in 1979, designed primarily by Wozniak. Apple Computer Company was founded on April 1, 1976, by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne as a partnership. 9-12 of the company's first product is the Apple I, a computer designed and hand-built entirely by Wozniak. 13 to finance. Its creation, Jobs sold his Volkswagen bus and Wozniak sold his HP 65 calculator. 1457 Neither received the full selling price but in total earned $1,300, equivalent to $6,700 in 2022. Wozniak debuted the first prototype Apple I at the Homebrew Computer Club in July 1976. 15. The Apple I was sold as a motherboard with CPU, RAM, and basic textual video chips, a base kit concept which was not yet marketed as a complete personal computer. 16. It was priced soon after debut for $666.66, equivalent to $3,400 in 2022. 17. 18. 180 Wozniak later said he was unaware of the coincidental mark of the beast in the number 666 and that he came up with the price because he liked repeating digits. 19. Apple Computer Incorporated was incorporated on January 3, 1977, 2021, without Wayne, who had left and sold his share of the company back to Jobs and Wozniak for $800 only 12 days after having co-founded it. 22. Multimillionaire Mike Markula provided essential business expertise and funding of $250,000, equivalent to $1,207,000 in 2022, to Jobs and Wozniak during the incorporation of Apple. 23. During the first 5 years of operations, revenues grew exponentially, doubling about every 4 months. Between September 1977 and September 1980, yearly sales grew from $775,000 to $118 million, an average annual growth rate of 533%. 24. The Apple II, also designed by Wozniak, was introduced on April 16, 1977, at the first West Coast Computer Fair. 25. It differs from its major rivals, the TIS-80 and Commodore PET, because of its character cell-based color graphics and open architecture. The Apple I and early Apple II models use ordinary audio cassette tapes as storage devices, which were superseded by the 5+1 4-inch floppy disk drive and interface called the Disk II in 1978. 26. 27. The Apple II was chosen to be the desktop platform for the first killer application of the business world, VisiCalc, a spreadsheet program released in 1979. 26. VisiCalc created a business market for the Apple II and gave home users an additional reason to buy an Apple II, compatibility with the Office, 26, but Apple II market share remained behind home computers made by competitors such as Atari, Commodore, and Tandy, 28, 29. On December 12, 1980, Apple, ticker symbol AAPL, went public selling 4.6 million shares at $22 per share, 10 cents per share when adjusting for stock splits as of September 3, 2022, 21, generating over $100 million, which was more capital than any IPO since Ford Motor Company in 1956. 30. By the end of the day, 300 millionaires were created, including Jobs and Wozniak, from a stock price of $29 per share, 31, and a market cap of $1.778 billion, 30, 31, 1980-1990, success with Macintosh. See also, list of Mac models and timeline of the Apple II family. The Macintosh, released in 1984, is the first mass-market personal computer to feature an integral graphical user interface and mouse. A critical moment in the company's history came in December 1979 when Jobs and several Apple employees, including human-computer interface expert Jeff Raskin, visited Xerox PARC to see a demonstration of the Xerox Alto, a computer with a graphical user interface. Xerox granted Apple engineers 3 days of access to the PARC facilities in return for the option to buy 100,032 shares, 22.4 million split-adjusted shares as of September 3, 2022, 21, of Apple at the pre-IPO price of $10 a share, 33. After the demonstration, Jobs was immediately convinced that all future computers would use a graphical user interface, and development of a GUI began for the Apple Lisa, named after Jobs' daughter. 34. The Lisa division was plagued by infighting, and in 1982, Jobs was pushed off the project. The Lisa launched in 1983 and became the first mass-marketed personal computer with a GUI, but was a commercial failure due to its high price and limited software library. 35. Jobs, angered by being pushed off the Lisa team, took over the company's Macintosh division. Wozniak and Raskin had envisioned the Macintosh as a low-cost computer with a text-based interface like the Apple II, but a plane crash in 1981 forced Wozniak to step back from the project. Jobs quickly redefined the Macintosh as a graphical system that would be cheaper than the Lisa, undercutting his former division. 36. Jobs was also hostile to the Apple II division, which at the time generated most of the company's revenue. 37. In 1984, Apple launched the Macintosh, the first personal computer without a bundled programming language. 38. Its debut was signified by 1984, a $1.5 million television advertisement directed by Ridley Scott that aired during the third quarter of Super Bowl 18 on January the 22nd, 1984. 39. This was hailed as a watershed event for Apple's success at 40 and was called a masterpiece by CNN. 41. And one of the greatest TV advertisements of all time by TV Guide. 42. The advertisement created great interest in Macintosh, and sales were initially good, but began to taper off dramatically after the first 3 months as reviews started to come in. Jobs had required 128 kilobytes of RAM, which limited its speed and software in favor of aspiring for a projected price point of $1,000, equivalent to $2,800 in 2022. The Macintosh shipped for $2,495, equivalent to $7,000 in 2022, a price panned by critics due to its slow performance. 43. 195 in early 1985, this sales slump triggered a power struggle between Steve Jobs and CEO John Sculley, who had been hired away from Pepsi 2 years earlier by Jobs. 44. Saying, "Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life or come with me and change the world?" 45. Sculley removed Jobs as the head of the Macintosh division, with unanimous support from the Apple Board of Directors. 46. The Board of Directors instructed Sculley to contain Jobs and his ability to launch expensive forays into untested products. Rather than submit to Scully's direction, Jobs attempted to oust him from leadership. 47. Jean-Louis Gassi informed Scully that Jobs had been